Okay, Jeff, we're on our new equipment.
Oh my gosh, it's a new day. It's weird. I'm like, can I see you over there?
Well, we could move the thing around where it's not blocking. Like you can shift it over, like where it's between you
How's
and the other.
this? Actually, it's hitting you square in the eye now.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that works.
Oh Lord.
Now it looks like I'm looking at you.
Well, I mean, most of the time we'll be talking to each other, but like, okay, in the other room, we couldn't talk to each other like this.
No, our heads were like this.
Yeah, it killed my neck.
Yeah, yeah.
But now we've got great audio. I can
Hello.
look at you.
We have a missing guest.
We'll get a guest.
There you go.
But like,
Then I can go like this. Yeah.
and you kind of play around with it too a little bit. Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
So the sound equipment, as you can hear, guys, is like, I mean, it's really nice. We have a whole equipment set up.
How do we
here.
sound? How do I sound? I can't tell how I sound, so how do we sound?
Good. You heard it. I played it for you. You heard your voice. It was good.
Hello, 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 hello.
Okay, that's probably too loud. Today we're going to talk on, let's cut right to it. We're going to talk about, because we have limited time, we took a little too long on having fun and talking to people, but we're going to start on a quick walkthrough on the upcoming changes that go live on the TREC contract.
July 1st?
July 1st, which is coming up in a month from now. So agents do need to be aware of this. We're going to go through this comprehensively, but I wanted to throw this on people's radar. We'll do the 1 to 4, the big changes on the 1 to 4 we'll cover, and then we'll go over the new groundwater lease disclosure. So
Yes.
with no further ado, let us go over here and switch over to here. So on the 1 to 4,
When you bring that up there, can they see us still or no?
yeah, I set it so if you go look over here, I'll tab back. See, they see that. They see whatever I'm showing on my screen.
Ah, cool.
Uh-huh,
Do
pretty
they see us still or
nice.
no?
No, I turned us off on that.
So
I
they-
could put us back on.
So they don't know I'm sticking my tongue out?
No, they don't know. That's great. So let's look through this. Blue is stuff that was not in there. So generators, guys,
Mm-hmm.
generators are now considered an improvement, which is good. Like, I mean, I considered them an improvement.
It was a
before.
no-brainer that it would stay, but
There must have been a lawsuit.
yep.
This is really a formality with the option fee change. Like you have the definition of a legal holiday, meaning, described in the Texas government code. So like if you can go consult with that for what's defined as a legal holiday. And you know what we could do is we can actually post up a list of
The legal
the
holidays.
legal holidays for agents, which would be really cool.
So it's not national legal holidays. It's Texas holidays.
Exactly, which is a little bit different. So there's specific state, I think there's a couple, and I don't quote me on this, there's a couple state holidays that are included in there that we don't get at the national. It includes all the national holidays, but I believe it adds some on. So we'll see on that. Yeah.
The
Option
rest of that's
fee,
just
option fee,
yeah,
just
it's just
changing
grammar.
the way it's set.
Grammar, yeah. Wait. Right there.
I'm not getting the Tidewater stuff. No one cares about that. They take out the phrase about an addendum. They take out the phrase about an addendum, and you'll see why in a second. Changing the way they frame seller's disclosure. Let's get down. Okay, here is a totally new section. Jeff, what is this?
This is gonna where we can put the addendums for the water disclosures now.
The new addendum that we
right,
have.
which is basically like well and water rights. Like what we just said before we got on, I think we're mostly going to be checking box number 3.
Yeah. So, okay, let's kind of look through this. We're not going to go through it comprehensively, but just to throw
Sure.
this on y'all's radar. Okay, are you aware of a well, something that affects your surface water rights, the right to use water, which more people are now like selling? Like my understanding is like that's now a factor within agreements that people are taking into account, and now with the with the limitation, with the challenges around fresh water in Texas, this is becoming more and more of an issue.
I've always considered like water rights just like mineral rights too.
Yes.
So you have 3 choices. You have the
Option
buyers
1.
received the disclosure. This is like a seller's disclosure notice.
Yeah.
You've received the notice. You have not received the notice, and within a certain amount of days, I'll receive the notice.
And you have a 7 days to back out if you were given this, just like with the seller's disclosure, 7 days to terminate after you receive the seller's water disclosure. Now,
or not needed.
Yeah. Or it's not required. Let's break this one down here. Can you read that to read it, Jeff, or not? Are you able to read that?
Which part?
Number 3.
The seller is not required to deliver the seller's water disclosure to the buyer because all of the following are true. The key is all of the following.
Exactly. A, seller's not aware, we can take turns. Seller's not aware of a water well on the property. Okay. In use or not in use. Doesn't, okay, that's an interesting thing. So like if they're, let's say they hooked up to city water at like an old ranch or some development and there's an old well on the property, you'd still have to provide this. Mm-hmm. Okay. B,
Seller is not aware of a pond, lake, water tank on the property.
in the hill country, that's going to be an issue.
Your dad's
My
property.
Perfect example is dad's property. He would have to provide the seller's water disclosure. Okay. I'll read this one. Seller's not aware of any certificate of education, certified filing, or permit for surface water rights associated with the water administered by the Texas Commission on Environment Quality, TCEQ, which Brian has dealt with quite a bit. I don't want to really get into a long thing on this, but like, we're gonna break this down in much more in depth in the future. But be aware, there's a certification process. This deals much more with stuff up in the hill country. Not as in San Antonio, not as big of an issue. You don't have any issue, any groundwater rights property that have been severed, sold, or anything like that.
Okay, so the property, this is E, the property receives water only from the city. So this would be a subdivision in Stone Oak, let's say.
The property receives water only from the following municipality, from the municipality,
The city.
city, municipal utility district, or special district water corporation, which is a little rare, or private water supply.
That would be like South Padre Island.
Yes, from the municipality. Well, okay,
Well, they have
SAWS is not the city necessarily. It's not.
It's owned by the city.
Owned by the city, but it's not water only from the following municipality, utility, from the city. I mean, that makes me think is all the trial. Oh, because all of the following are true. Okay, so it's saying you get water from a city, a mud. You don't need.
You're not aware of well. You're not aware of a pond or any type of water tank or anything like that on the property, and you're getting the water from the city, and there's no groundwater.
Yeah, there's no groundwater available or on the property.
So we're talking about like a normal subdivision, like in Stone Oak, that's getting water from SAWS. You'd always check this box 3.
Yeah. So most sales will be number 3. Interesting.
In San Antonio, right?
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I have not. We briefly skimmed this right beforehand. I should have done more due diligence on this, but like you're looking at this pretty much at the same time I'm looking at it too. So.
And I spent about a minute on this.
Yeah. So we're gonna and I have had some conversations about other elements on this. The groundwater rights. I just know most of the time you're going to be selecting number 3.
The headlines that you see is number 12.
Yeah, like this one, let's look at this. So what they're doing, okay, they're moving buyer's agent compensation from being this small area above settlement charges that you're dealing with to down here. And we'll do a much more in-depth look at this in the future, but like for fun. Brokerage compensation is not set by law.
The seller shall pay, the buyer shall pay.
12B, so seller's settlement charges will not change parties' obligation to pay compensation pursuant to other agreements. Okay, that's fair.
What I love about that is you can negotiate it in a wild way where, let's say, the seller pays 1.5% and the buyer will pay 1.5%.
I like this. My first reaction is, one, it eliminates the frustrating language up here about applied to brokerage fees that the buyer has agreed to pay. Like that confuses because buyers think, well, I'm saying I'm paying for it. I've had to explain that to people.
That's exactly why they took it out.
Yeah, and now they've gone into a much more detailed explanation.
Who pays for what?
To pay for such provisions. There's more depth to this. So they're talking about clarifying the order of operations for what's paid for under Section 12. That's settlement charges. It'll go first towards prohibited expenses from the government, which is, I think, is pretty much how it already functioned in practice. At closing, they were applying it to that first at the title company, but now it's clarified in the contract itself. So I am familiar with that. Seller's broker. They changed it from that's an interesting. And I've noticed that in a few other things. They're changing from the term listing broker to seller's broker to buyer's broker, which I think matches modern lingo better.
It does, because what is another broker?
Yeah, exactly. Like what does that even mean?
Yeah. The other broker is always on the other side.
Government requirements, statements, documents requested by the escrow agent. Oh, that deals with the new reporting requirements at title, where they have to sign documents and such.
Yes.
So if you're selling under a home that's owned or part of a transaction involving an LLC and such, I'm sure that's directly talking to that to clarify it. Okay. Buyer's agent info's here. Okay, so this is cool.
They put more information in there.
Well, they're changing the contact information to here, and then if you go down, this is the new form section. So much clearer. It kind of groups them by category, a little bit larger, and I like that.
I like it because it's kind of like a checklist of what else you need.
Versus this is going away. Mm-hmm. Now they've kind of cleaned it up. It's not a big old blob.
Yeah.
And let's go to the last page. So here we go. The brokers to this sale are address, associate, team name, phone for supervisor. Yep. Represents the buyer only as the buyer's agent. Seller's the only seller's agent.
They use the word intermediary.
I like that. I like it. I like it the way it looks. What do you versus this?
Yep.
I don't like the check boxes. I'd rather just go straight to the blank, not have to check anything, and go off that. What do you think? You like that?
Yeah.
Cool.
No problem. It's the same thing, just a different format.
Yeah.
But the most important change on there, that paragraph's taken out.
Thank God. Thank God.
So you know what that tells me? That TAR form is gone.
Oh, it is gone.
That we're not going to ask, how would you like me to do my commission?
Well, they know. So they work closely. We've talked about this before. Mm-hmm. They work closely. And so the conversation is, okay, TAR, if you're getting rid of the Section 1 in the listing agreement, which is on its way out, then there's no more outside, there's not a heavily used path to pre-negotiate the commission between the listing broker and the buyer's broker.
So I joke, it's Jeff's way is going to be the only way now.
Well,
which is
you put it in 12. Though.
I did, because I hate change.
Yeah.
But I learned that it was one less form you have to do. So why not do it this way? And it makes it so much easier. And I would say half the agents do it the right way, which is this way, and half the agents still use the old school way, where they're splitting the 6%, or they're splitting the broker's commission.
Honestly,
and
from a teaching point of view, it makes it really easy for us.
Sure.
Brian's not as happy. He feels like in certain cases it takes the ability to eliminate a barrier in negotiations, which I can understand. But and as a counterpoint,
if it doesn't now, because it shows in that Section 12 where buyer pays, you'd put 0 typically, and then you'd put seller pays whatever your percentage is.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to negotiate that. Let's say times change and it becomes a seller's market, you're going to see a lot of that. You're going to say, no, my seller's only going to be paying 1.5%. So then you'd put 1.5%. You'd put 1.5% the seller would pay, and then the buyer would have to pay the difference. And that makes it easy also for title to figure out who's paying what.
So read this again. The contributions under 12B1 and B2 shall be applied and not change the party's obligation to pay compensation pursuant to. Okay, so if we have pre-negotiated 3% from the buyer's agent, we don't have to. It's not required to be disclosed on here.
Correct.
Okay, so that's not. At least from my interpretation, I'm going to clarify that. But if the seller's, it's still most of the time going to be just the seller. What's the seller's contribution? What's the seller bound to it through the contract to pay? And then like if you're adding a difference, like okay, you know what that would be? If the if there's an additional amount or something like that that's in play, I could see that like going above. Like let's say the seller wanted to pay a bonus or something like that, you could go above with the. But well, let me think this through here, because you don't have to disclose what's in. It appears that you don't have to disclose what's in your buyer's rep. Okay.
No, not on there.
Not at all. But if your buyer's rep is different from this amount, you can clarify it through here. But that doesn't change the the TREC rule that you have to have in writing the specific amount that you're making. But our buyer's rep allows you to double it, which is kind of an interesting concept here that we're dealing with. You know, very interesting.
Our buyer's rep allows you to have like a builder's bonus. You know, we're charging the buyer 3%, but we
Yeah.
can go up to double that amount,
Yeah.
which would be 6%. So if you got a bonus, we wouldn't have to disclose that.
There's some funny. This is interesting. So like, it's not a big change. I think it's mostly just going to be people using 99% of the time. But there's some funny stuff I could see with that. Okay. So last thing to show is this: the seller's disclosure. Up. Let's look. Uh-oh.
Oh,
Camera's
we're frozen.
No! What happened? Why did my cameras die on me? Okay. Well, no more cameras. You'll just listen to us. Groundwater, surface water rights, water well. Interesting. Well, we're going to have to do a whole show. You know who knows a lot about this and is like really on top of this? My brother. I'll probably have him
Yeah.
come in over and talk to us on
We
this
can have him sit
remotely.
there.
Yeah, we can have him physically come
That'd
in
be
too.
cool.
Cool.
We'll learn a lot about water. That's
Well,
what's
he
my,
did this. He's dealt with TCEQ for his own neighborhood. They're
Wow.
having issues, so like, yeah, he's very familiar with this. So, okay, guys, I think I'm gonna call it right here and stop the recording. And
Leave a comment on how we sound.
yeah, please let us know.